Hello everybody, and welcome to another video from NorCal slot car scene. I'm sure most of you that race 32nd scale slot cars are fans of full-size racing as well. Sports car racing is in the beginning of one of the greatest periods in its history. The new GTP class in IMSA and Hypercar at Le Mans are seeing record fields, and some of these have already been announced for production as 32nd scale slot cars. Production-based GT racing in the GT3 field has never been better, with huge fields up to 70 cars at the 24 Hours of Spa a few months ago. In NorCal slot car racing, GT3 has become one of the most popular classes. We're racing GT3 not only at the large commercial tracks, but the home tracks as well. Now let's take a look back at another glorious era of IMSA and GT racing. Group 5 cars were based on production cars with numerous modifications, featuring huge fender flares and big wings. Many of the manufacturers came out to play, and you can see this currently at historic racing throughout the world. But Group 5 racing is alive and strong in Northern California in NorCal 32. This grid is at Red Hill Raceway a few years ago, and we haven't raced Group 5 for a while, but it's back and better than ever. Recently, we started to race Group 5 at the home tracks as well as the commercial tracks. The reason we're able to do this is that Racer Sideways has produced quite a few of the Group 5 cars, including the Lancia and the Ford Mustang that you see here. The drivetrain for all the Racer Sideways Group 5 cars is the same. It's a flat 12 motor within an angle winder configuration. The only difference between the various cars is the chassis and the body. Now let's take a look at the modifications that you're allowed in NorCal 32 racing. There are 4 primary things that you are allowed to change in this class. First, you can change to a slotted angle winder motor pod, replacing the stock Racer Sideways pod. You don't have to do this, but I think it's definitely a good improvement to the overall performance of the car. Second, as with most all of our classes, you can change to a wood guide. The Slot Invasion guide, in my opinion, is probably the best guide on the market right now, and that's the one I use. We've allowed air wheels in this class to make the cars handle a little bit better. And the go-to wheel for this is the 15.8 by 10.2 millimeter air wheel. You can use it with or without the lightning holes. Doesn't make much difference in my opinion. The tire of choice for me is the NSR 15209, which is an ultra grip compound. I think it works the best on the home tracks like Silicon City and High Sierra Speedway. We haven't raced these on the commercial track yet, but we will be at the next race at Motown, and we'll have to wait and see what the best tire is for Motown with the Group 5 cars. When it came to choosing a car for this class, being a BMW guy, there's 2 BMWs available, the 320i, and the one that I chose is the BMW M1. I like the car, and I think this livery is one of the most striking liveries of any car ever made. So now let's get down, take the body off, and take a look at the modifications that we've outlined before. It's a pretty straightforward build. We've installed the motor pod from Slotted. We've added the Slot Invasion wood guide, mounted and trued the NSR tires on slotted wheels and installed them. The car's pretty much ready to go. One other thing you definitely want to do with any car, especially with an angle winder car, is install 2 screws to attach the motor to the motor pod. If you don't do this, the car will bounce all over the track and be almost impossible to drive. When I did some testing, I found that just a little more weight helped the car out in the handling department. So you can see here that I've added one of the slotted tungsten weights in the motor magnet pocket. That's the entire build. So how did this car perform? With a little racing luck, at the first 2 races, we're on the top step of the podium. The car is very fast and very easy to drive. I'm looking forward to running this car at all the different racetracks that we have in Northern California for the next few months. And this is Jim Rose with NorCal Slot Car Scene. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next race.